Okay, Ruben, what have you got for us today? Hello, everyone. It is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. It's press conference time. Yes, another one. It is a bit weird today. The reason why I've titled this press conference, though, as the most heated in the season so far is because we've already seen how heated it is. By that, I mean this is a pre-recorded press conference. So we're about to hear remarks from Ruben Amorim that happened last night. If you don't know how this works, normally when you have multiple games, i.e. games in the week, we don't this season because we're shit. And Manchester United, for the first time in the Premier League, had back-to-back games in the week. So, Sunday, Thursday, then to Monday. So what happens is, because there's no time for the press to get back and Ruben to settle in with his team on the Friday, they will do the press conference after the West Ham game. And at the same time, just after that, cut it in half, embargo it, and do the press conference for the next game. So we already know Ruben is literally frothing at the mouth. Nearly every single journalist's remarks, and I've read through and listened to every single one of them from last night's games, I've been saying they have never seen Ruben so irate, so tetchy, so on edge about a performance after the game. And last night, I think we've seen it. We've seen Ruben, I think, feeling like he cannot do any more. That's how he came across anyway. But look, and that was then, this is now. We are going to talk, obviously, a little bit more about the aftermath and everything that happened, what Ruben could possibly say going ahead to Wolves. What is he going to do? What can he do? Not an awful lot. If you give Ruben all of the tools that we've got in our arsenal right now, he's not going to be able to do much because he refuses to do much with them. So the media today, or last night, like I said, are going to be going in on how do you change it? Have you seen enough in that game against West Ham to realise that it's these low block sides, these well-organised sides that don't offer much going forward, which Everton haven't and West Ham haven't, but still managed to come away with something from Old Trafford, from Manchester United? Are you willing to change it up, Ruben? Maybe a question like that was asked last night. God knows which journalists are going to be asking them, because I think I heard plenty. I think I heard Rob Dawson, Samuel Luckhurst, I heard Dan Carr from Sky, all of these journalists, and I think Simon Stone from the BBC also asked the question last night. So I don't know if they split it and what journalists are going to ask these much needed and questions the fan base want to hear to Ruben Amorim ahead of the Wolves game. But imagine having that, having to laugh off the Kobbie Mainoo conversation from Samuel Luckhurst in last night's press conference, and then sit there with him again and act like you're ready and being prepared to, or being the best you can be prepared wise to go into the Wolves game. That is a difficult task, and Ruben must have wanted the ground to swallow him up last night in that press conference. And part two, well, he definitely didn't want to be there for that either. So I'm guessing we're going to get a bit of a bite and a bit of an aftermath from them first questions into God knows what the media are going to ask him today in terms of who might be fit. We're not going to get any of them questions because the game was played last night and there's been nothing said. Is Harry Maguire going to be back in this side? Is Benjamin Sesko back? I think both of them are going to be a resounding no. I think he cleared that on Friday anyway. Maguire's still not ready. Is he going to be ready for Monday Night Football? I think we're into the weekend tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So really, this is all going to be very, very similar questions that we didn't hear last night, coming back out again for us to see how Ruben is handling. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be a very, very difficult afternoon. Let's just say that for Ruben Amorim, dealing with that Man United squad at Carrington. There's lots of stories floating around the media already right now. There's lots going on with the stories around Kobbie Mainoo, what's been said with him. I've actually listened today to everybody else's remarks, other United fans online, on social media, listened to everybody. I've been quite surprised at the amount of people that in the past have been very level-headed and have been very cautious with the manager outside of things. But my God, Ruben Amorim is destroying this fan base, or the people that I know, in terms of what they feel needs to happen. And it is all getting rid of Ruben Amorim. It's sack Ruben Amorim. He has to go. How can you make so many defensive substitutes at Old Trafford? How can you not beat a poor Everton side that had 10 men for 80 minutes and a West Ham side locked in relegation battle at the bottom of the league? How can you not manage to get anything more than 6 points from them games and sit there making boring defensive substitutes constantly? Look, the Kobbie Mainoo situation is going to rumble and rumble and rumble now, and I think even more so. For Nate Salt to come out last night from the Daily Mail and do his piece on this as well, and say and ask the question to all Man United fans, what is the point of Kobbie Mainoo? Why is he at this football club? Last night, it was clear that Ruben Amorim does not like him. I've listened to people on the radio this morning. It's clear that there has been a problem, and something has to have happened behind the scenes with Kobbie and Ruben Amorim. But because to not bring him on in that situation, and Manuel Ugarte, fantastic stat that came out, and credit to Nate Salt again for his research last night from the Daily Mail, when he came out and said 14 of Manchester United's 21 goals, I think it is, this season have been conceded while he's been on the pitch. And Ruben thinks that that man, who doesn't score goals, who's got no history of scoring goals or creating anything for Manchester United, is the answer to bring on next to a double 90-minute in the same week game for Casemiro while he's on a yellow card. It made absolutely no sense for Ruben Amorim to bring Ugarte on and keep Casemiro on the pitch. If it was Ugarte for Casemiro, that's because you're maintaining minutes. It wasn't. It was Ugarte for Cunha, and he goes in next to Casemiro, who stays on the pitch. We're talking here about Casemiro and watching Casemiro's minutes, and he's just done back-to-back 90 minutes now. Does that mean that he's out for the Wolves game when we really need a result now? This could really backfire, because Manuel Ugarte on the pitch is a disaster for Manchester United. Casemiro holds his own, and it's sad and it's pathetic that United are actually having to cling on to Casemiro as our one shining light in that central midfield right now. It is an absolute embarrassment how we've got to this position. And then not to bring Kobbie Mainoo on. Fabrizio Romano today, this afternoon, in the last hour in fact, has come out and said that, like we said before, and the word from people that I know at Manchester United, and what has been said is that Napoli are all over Kobbie, and January could happen. Romano today, in fact, I will tell you exactly what Romano has said today around Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo could leave Manchester United next month as Napoli and more clubs remain keen on a loan deal. Kobbie's going to see this out, and Kobbie's going to be proved right over Ruben Amorim here, because he's going to outlast him again. Kobbie's going to go out on loan, get his game time that he wants, because he's never going to play for United, proven as last night with Ruben Amorim and his substitutes. And he's going to come back, and Ruben's going to get sacked because Man United are not going to be in Europe. That's the way. That's the way the lie. That's the lay of the land, you could say, with Ruben Amorim and Kobbie Mainoo right now. There is no way in for Kobbie at United, and last night it all failed for Ruben. Every single risk, everything that he wanted to work out didn't, and everything he needed to go right did not go right for him. And Kobbie Mainoo was his biggest issue. He could have easily brought Kobbie on or brought him into this game somewhere, and he just refuses to play him. Refuses to play him. I said yesterday, I think I said it in my vlog as well, the fact that he's come out in the press conference on Friday and said that Shea Lacey is actually ready to play. I just don't know when we're going to bring him in. If he's ready to play, you bring on a talented player that could maybe change the game and do something different. That's what you do. And I'm sure these questions are going to be asked again. Any chance of Shea Lacey getting game time? Or is he going to be another academy player that's just not going to progress because he isn't being loaned out like he should do? Because let's be honest, Ruben is never, ever going to play him. He's just not. And maybe you'll get a chance when AFCON comes around. But then again, you're looking at maybe Joshua Zirkzee stepping up, who we've said is not leaving Manchester United in January now. Thank God we've got a saviour in Joshua Zirkzee, who's now going to play. I listened to people on the radio this morning saying it's these players are just simply not good enough. None of them are good enough. You can pick out maybe a half a dozen players that might compete in other top squads within this Premier League, and that's it. Everyone else has proven of time after time after time, season after season after season, that they are just not good enough, and they're never going to be able to take Manchester United forward. The fact that Ruben Amorim is refusing to try and make the most out of this squad, even if he adapted a tiny little bit of a change, and we thought we'd seen this with Zirkzee and the long ball from Lamens and things like this. If he did that, if he changed shape, he went forward at the back, he's not changing it. I've watched this since he come out with his outburst in a previous press conference about changing the formation. It's a 4-4-2, it's a 4-3-3, then it's a 3-4-3. whatever you want to say, Ruben, on this, is that he is not changing it. I've watched it from there, and it's always free at the back. I was sat in the stands watching Everton and West Ham. It did not change. You're playing free at the back against Callum Wilson. Man's a journeyman who can never stay fit and play 90 minutes of football. And you got free at the back. I'm expecting all of this to come in today. If I really expect it, what do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. With this press conference and what we can expect from it, it's difficult to gauge because most of the stuff would have been aimed at last night's performance. It's difficult to then move it and switch like it's the day after and talk about something different because the emotions are still there in the press conference, which is why this is probably really intriguing when it comes to what's happening in this presser today, because it's still the West Ham press conference. It's just bits that we haven't heard yet, and no one is allowed to release this until 1:30, 3 minutes time today. So we're on the lookout for these quotes, and we're going to see what else has been asked and what else Ruben has had to say on last night, because after what he said, like I said this morning, after what he said after that West Ham performance and his press conference, I really disappointed in Ruben Amorim after what he said last night. It kind of, that's the closest it's been to an Erik ten Hag press conference for me. And you know what that means to me. And you know how much I hated the way that Ten Hag tried to pull the wool over the fans' eyes. The first time ever last night for Ruben Amorim, well, he's been at the club, I thought he was trying to tell us something different to what we've seen on that pitch. That control, and then laughing off a Kobbie coming on as an attacking player. Like, why are you trying to make it sound like the world's media has an agenda against you and Kobbie? That's how his reaction came across in that press conference last night. It came across like this is the one mission that the media has got. The Kobbie Mainoo versus Ruben Amorim saga. That's how he laughed it off. But to tell us that he controlled that game and that they scored from a set piece, and that's control for Manchester United. There's no control in that game at all. I said it this morning. There's zero control for Manchester United in that game. When it's 1-0, when it's 1-1, when it's 0-0, which were the three score lines within that game last night, no one's got control over that game. And again, that starting to creep in worries me with Ruben. And I don't expect this press conference to be any better. And there won't be much of it either. I don't think it's going to be short and sweet and to the point, I would have thought now. So let's just see what Ruben says. Them quotes are coming out in just a couple of minutes now. So back end, we started this at 1:15. So first 15 minutes there has been a little bit of a aftermath from last night. Again, engaging other reactions from other people. And my thoughts on this: Kobbie Mainoo is likely to leave in January on loan. He's going to push for a loan, and I don't think Manchester United stand any chance really with stopping him. Like they can do, but they are going to be absolutely slaughtered for doing so by this fan base, because they need someone to blame, and it's going to be Ruben and Ineos that take the flak from this fan base. And a lot of people will say, and quite rightly so as well, we can bemoan and slag off the players like I did last night and every other fan, but if you are stopping a player from playing football that could have made a difference, even off the bench, if Kobbie's coming on off the bench, I'm sort of defending Amorim a little bit because he doesn't deserve a start over other players. But he's not even getting game time off the bench. It's pitiful. So really, if they try and stop him in this scenario, then they're going to look like idiots. And I guarantee the fans will turn on them. And Ruben's time will be done. In fact, I've said it already, and I'll stand by it. If he doesn't win against Wolves, he should be sacked on Tuesday morning. That's it. That's where I'm at with that. And that's, why am I saying sorry? Actually, paying Manchester United fan that goes week in, week out and spends that much money a season, we need to see better. We need to see more. And I just don't think he inspires them. And we're seeing that on the pitch now. For them to perform the way that they have, them players, I just don't think there's any way back for him. But again, like Manchester United cannot allow these standards to continue. So I don't think that we're going to get this. Right. Ruben Amorim's press conference is up. Romano has just come out and said that Manchester United will continue to support Ruben Amorim at this point in the season. Now that is interesting as well. Interesting thoughts on Toby Collier from Ryan Mason, who is the manager there at West Brom right now. It's fairly serious injury. He's currently at United. They are examining him. When a loaned player gets injured, it's normal for his club to examine him. We are in discussions and hope that he can return in better shape. So, serious injury for Toby Collier. Sorry, I'm not bringing in much news, good news there on that one. First quote from the press conference, embargoed version, has come from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail. It says, Ruben Amorim has defended his treatment of Kobbie Mainoo and insisted he won't be pressured into playing the United midfielder. I understand what you are saying. You love Kobbie. He starts for England, but that doesn't mean I need to put in Kobbie when I feel I shouldn't. So he feels he shouldn't put Kobbie in. So that alone there tells you that there is some kind of problem between Ruben and Kobbie Mainoo. There is a fallout, clearly. There has to be. For Ruben to say that he doesn't feel he should put Kobbie Mainoo in this side. Look, everyone knows football. Just because Ruben's in the hot seat doesn't mean that he knows it doesn't mean that he sees a different game to us and we should all just listen to what he says. We all know what we're watching. Every single pundit and every single football journalist, anyone broadcasting is saying exactly the same thing as we are right now. More from Ruben. He says, of course, I understand my job is to answer, but you ask me always the same thing. I don't know what is going to happen. It depends. If I see in training it's the best thing, I will put it. That is the only way I know how to respond to that. So asking a question about Kobbie Mainoo and getting frustrated here, Ruben Amorim, again, by saying you keep asking me the same questions and I have to manage this team, obviously. If I see something in training. So it does not matter what people do on the pitch at all to Ruben Amorim. It's all about putting Kobbie in if he performs in training. This is not going to go well for you, Ruben, answering questions like this, mate. I can already tell you this now for nothing. This fan base are not going to let that fly. They're really not. Because everything that's been said, and Manchester United staff have come out and said, and it has been leaked out, so it's not great, I know, but from everyone reporting on United, they've all said that Kobbie's attitude is spot on in training and he's working harder than he's ever worked before. I don't know if that's right. I'm guessing what's been said. So clearly, Ruben doesn't think Kobbie trains hard enough. Answered question right there from the horse's mouth. Kobbie's not doing enough in training. It's two different opinions here right now, isn't it? And I think there is other staff in and around Manchester United that would say different to what Ruben Amorim does. Is there a disconnect between Ruben and the staff at Manchester United now? We're trying to figure this out and figure out the puzzle here, but it's a difficult one for Ruben to try and navigate around because this is a player that's really, well, he's not kicked up a stink. His agent's an arse, as we can always say, and he's demanding way too much money. And I don't know if there's any message from the club to Ruben here on this managerial situation. You can all bring up your conspiracy theories around this and Kobbie, but I kind of knew that this was where these questions were going to be going ahead of Wolves because let's not forget last season it was that brilliant late goal from Kobbie Mainoo against Wolves, which got us that crazy 4-3 win, if you remember right. This was one of Kobbie's moments last season. So was it last season? No, it was the season before, sorry. Season before that one, wasn't it? Last season we got beat by Cunha corner. Funnily enough. Anyway, but that there, from what Ruben has said, of course I understand that my job is to answer, but you ask me always the same thing. I don't know what is going to happen. It depends. If I see in training it is the best thing, I will put it in. That is the only way I know how to respond to that. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, you clearly do know what's going to happen because Kobbie is not doing enough when other people are saying he is, and you're not playing him. So I'll tell you what's going to happen. I can say this for Ruben Amorim, but he's not going to pick Kobbie Mainoo. It's as simple as that. Laurie Whitwell has just come out now. Kobbie Mainoo to seek a loan in January amid deep frustrations over game time under Ruben Amorim, but Manchester United expect to only make decision after AFCON. Amorim, you love Kobbie, but that doesn't mean I need to put Kobbie on when I feel I shouldn't. Again, Whitwell adding to the comments there and the remarks from Ruben on Kobbie Mainoo, he's also brought in the fact that he knows that Kobbie wants out of Manchester United and he's going to seek that loan. United won't allow it until the last weeks. Sorry, I think it's the last 2 weeks of January. We're only going to allow Kobbie to leave United. So he's not going to play again for the next, if you calculate all of them games, I think it works out around about 7 or 8 games. Kobbie's not going to feature in yet before he would get any move away from Manchester United. United look a little bit all over the place here. I think Ruben has made this a very difficult situation on his own here for Ineos in what he's actually saying. Ruben Amorim asked if Manchester United knew how long they would have those selected for AFCON available. No, we are dealing with everything. They are going to play the next game and is the only thing I care about. The next game. Of course, that is all Ruben cares about. It's all he says in press conferences. We work on the next one. The next one is an important one, Ruben. You need to win it, mate. You need to win it. Otherwise, you're gone. What I feel anyway. Amorim practically scoffed at the suggestions he should have put on Shea Lacey. Can understand why. Teenagers from the academy have only been on the bench this season to make up the numbers amid injuries. It's not an indication that they're ready. That's from Samuel Luckhurst. But then again, Ruben did say that Shea Lacey is ready to play. So if he says he's ready, then the fan base would expect him to be telling the truth and thinking that if Shea Lacey's on the bench, then he should feature. And that's it. I see it. I just want to win. I try to put the players. I put the players. I don't look who it is. I don't care about that. I'm just trying to put the best players on the pitch. You have Manuel Ugarte that played 2 games. One of them was Casemiro, was out. Bruno Fernandes. He's always fit. He's the guy that is doing his position. So maybe it has to do with that. Wait, what? Hang on a minute. Ruben Amorim on Kobbie Mainoo again. Let me just read this again because there's a bit of lost in translation here. I see it. I just want to win. I try to put the players. I don't look who it is. I don't care about that. I'm just trying to put the best players on the pitch. He said this in the pre-match press conference to West Ham on Friday as well. You have Manuel Ugarte that played 2 games. One of them, Casemiro, was out. Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes is always fit. He's the guy that is doing his position, so maybe it has to do with that. So he's talking about Bruno Fernandes covering Kobbie Mainoo again. But then again, he's just tripped himself completely up there by saying that Bruno Fernandes is the player that Kobbie Mainoo should be in for, and that's why he's not playing. But Bruno Fernandes moved into a 10 last night when Ugarte came on for Cunha for 2 defensive midfielders to play when you're trying to win the game in Casemiro and Ugarte. So Ruben has just tripped himself up by saying that there. He clearly sounds like he's just lost in the moment here and he doesn't know how to answer questions because he's coming off the back of a really difficult night's work and a really poor performance from Manchester United. But for Ruben to say there that it's down to Bruno Fernandes that Kobbie Mainoo is not playing, fair enough. But just to get Kobbie on as a substitute, you brought Ugarte on for Cunha. Now, Kobbie plays at 10. And you know he's better at 10. So Ugarte coming on counts for nothing, except he's come on ahead of Kobbie Mainoo. That's not going to help him either. And the fans are not going to, they're not going to fall for that. They're really not. I mean, get me some comment. I'm going to get into the comment section on this now, actually. Hassan says, who would we replace Amorim with? Well, that's not down to us to decide. That's for United to organise and sort out. If you look at the lay of the land at the moment with managers and who might be available, Glasner's contract at Palace is up at the end of this season. Obviously, Zidane is free. Nagelsmann's contract with Germany, I'm not sure after the World Cup whether he'd be available. All of these managers probably towards the end of the season. The unrest at Palace behind the scenes is probably the only thing I would see Manchester United having an advantage in getting Glasner over, and that might be something that you could look at a little bit more maybe, at best. But in the Iraola one, his team has fallen off completely at the moment. No winning 5 for Iraola and Bournemouth. Is he starting to really realise, like, is his head... Actually, no, you could look at Iraola and say, is his head been turned? Is he looking elsewhere? Is he off the ball? Could that be something that's happening there? But again, it's like his stock isn't very high at the moment, Iraola's, because he's struggling. Glasner, I think, is stepping up and then stepping up again, even when he gets knocked down, and dealing with a very small squad in Europe and not being backed in the summer to keep Crystal Palace ahead of Manchester United, by the way, who we just beat. So it's like Palace bounced back, United didn't, and they've got European football this season, are still doing better than Manchester United's multi-million-pound squad. So that would say to me, Glasner is probably a bet you could maybe put money on, because when you weigh everything up, he's more likely to come because of the contract situation and the fallout at Crystal Palace. But why would he want to come to Man United at the moment is the question. That's a serious question as well. Managers would look at their careers and Manchester United now and go, poison chalice. I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I get the idea we should back a manager, but if after 12 months there are bad results, no style of play, no development of youth, losing finals, why should we back the manager? Look, no one says that you've got to back the manager. Everyone's got their own opinion and their own thoughts. It's like last night, I completely lost faith in Manchester United getting to where I thought we could have got this season. I've given up on that. I'll take what comes now and I'll react to it as and when it comes out. Just say it how you see it is where I'm at now with Man United. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm not going to make any sort of hopeful looks ahead in terms of where United might finish this season. I've given up on that now. I've seen enough already to tell me that my backing and support for these players to get into Europe is dead. They can't do it. They simply can't do it. The ceiling is 7th. That's it. I think you might scrape 6, and that might get you the Europa League because of the cohesion pushing down another Champions League place. That's it. United need to fight for 6. That's where we are. I don't think there's any more that Ruben can do with this team. I don't think there's any more that Ruben can get out of these players to push us further past that. That's honestly where I'm at right now with them. And they're the expectations. That's where I think Manchester United need to be now. Knowing our luck, we will end up with Southgate. No, please don't say that, Hassan. I kind of just did make a prediction there, didn't I? In terms of where we might finish up after saying I won't do that. But no, what I mean is, I don't think Manchester United will get Champions League. I don't think we've got the capabilities of doing it unless you brought in some players in January that were top notch, which I don't see happening. I really don't. I'll bring you up to date with all the transfer stuff later on this evening as well. Wanted to really gauge where Ruben was at in his press conference first of all today. I'm still reading through bits here from Ruben. And again, it's all on Kobbie Mainoo. Everything is on it. And today, the Athletic and Fabrizio Romano has come out and said Kobbie is looking to get away. He's looking to get away from Manchester United. Just to bring you up to date on that again, if you have just joined us, of course, Manchester United are expected to wait until after AFCON finishes in the middle of the winter window to make a decision on Kobbie Mainoo. They will weigh up whether it is better to keep him in the second half of the campaign or allow him to leave to play regularly, thus retaining his value if a summer sale is explored. My God, they are. And we said this, and finally, they're actually backing up what us fans were actually saying. The Athletic's coming out and saying it. Fabrizio Romano's coming out and saying it. Kobbie Mainoo's career at Manchester United is over. It's quite clear in that there from the Athletic that he's done, unless Ruben gets sacked. And look, we might get to the second week of that transfer window when AFCON is finished. And if results are still going the same way and United drop into the bottom half of the table, let's just say, as a scenario here, then Ruben's gone. And Kobbie probably will end up staying at Manchester United because someone else will come in and I'm sure will try and play a different style of football. He will utilise the fullbacks that we've got that play fullback, not wingback. He will utilise the wingers as wingers and not wingbacks probably. And he will play number 10s in number 10s and a number 9 in a number 9 position. And no doubt that is now what Ineos will learn from having Ruben Amorim in charge. Look, this is all going to be ifs, buts, and maybes on the basis of Ruben winning the next few games. I just don't see it because this team is bad now. And in 2 weeks, when Mbeumo, Mazraoui, and Ahmad leave, who were our best players last night, Ahmad and Mazraoui in particular, Mbeumo's off it at the moment. When they're gone, I don't know where we go. I don't know who comes in and who I expect to perform, because you're looking at a scenario there where the wing-backs, where Ruben Amorim has come out and said, look, we need another Ahmad on the left-hand side. You're going to have Dorgu and Dalot as your wing-backs for about 5 games. I don't see Ruben surviving that, because Dalot can't play wing-back. Dorgu is struggling without the support. He can't do it all on his own. He's been asked to be a winger and be a fullback at the same time. He's just too young and too raw to do it. He needs to be in fullback. I think he's shown already in his year at Manchester United, now Dorgu, that, well, nearly a year now, coming up to a year next month, that he just isn't a wing-back. He's just not got it in him. So that, I think, is a major problem for Ruben Amorim. And this Kobbie Mainoo saga isn't over for Manchester United. I think this could come above Ruben Amorim now. I think this could be actually more than him, and actually start to move into the realms of the club making a decision on Kobbie Mainoo over Ruben. Because United, really, if they want Kobbie Mainoo's value to go up, if Kobbie Mainoo will want to play at Manchester United because he wants his contract, he wants his new contract. Manchester United need value from Kobbie on the pitch and in the balance sheets. And at the moment, he's giving us nothing. Someone's got to make a call sooner or later. Someone's going to have to come out and sort something out here. And someone's going to have to come above Ruben Amorim's head and deal with this. Jason Wilcox might be called into action here as the director of football at Manchester United. These are the roles and these are the jobs that these people at the club need to be making. They need to come out and deal with this, because it's not going to help the mood around United. Let's not forget, Kobbie Mainoo is a Manchester lad, Manchester United academy player, and whether you like him or not in terms of the way that he's played on the pitch and if he's good enough, which I don't think he is, to be getting all of this hype, he is still going to cause a problem behind the scenes. His agency is notoriously a nightmare. He's loved by everyone at the club, and if people at the club love him and see him the way he is, then that's going to make a separation between Ruben Amorim and them people at Manchester United. Look, we're not there. We've not got a front row seat to all of this drama. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand a dynamic completely changing within a coach and a player and what that might do. Kobbie's great mates with everyone in that side, and they talk more than what the players talk to Ruben Amorim. Like Bruno Fernandes says, once he deals with the football stuff, no one sees him. He keeps himself to himself. He doesn't allow the players to build a relationship with him. He's just Terminator mode. Contract done, in, bang, mission complete. That's it. And then I'm on with the rest of my routine. And he is as stubborn as any other manager in the Premier League is, Ruben Amorim. He's not going to change. He's not for changing. I've hoped he would change. I hoped he would adapt and learnt. But you are not going to succeed at a high level in management, which you have to really do at this level in the Premier League if you are going to really get it. I'm not saying that arrogantly as a Premier League fan, but there are some managers obviously that do well elsewhere. But Amorim's not going to get a top job if he's not adaptable. Don't forget, he was working in Portugal before. I'd have thought and I prayed that he would have learnt and he would have started changing up a little bit, because this isn't working for him. As a young manager, you have to adapt your own skills as a coach and a manager to wherever you are. You have to. Every player that comes in the Premier League has to adapt. So why is Ruben not adapting as a manager? Look, all of that there. Look, and I'll go in on him, and I don't care. People can say that's a flip-flop from Ruben. I'm not. I'm just going to say it as it is. What I saw last night again was a Man United side that don't believe in Ruben Amorim. And I just want to watch decent football. I want to at least enjoy the rest of the season. I don't want to be miserable watching boring football. And that's what it is at Old Trafford at the moment. It's gone from being promising, not perfect, but promising, to utter shite. That's what it's gone to. Let's see what we've got in here in the comment section. It's 2 start, stop, a couple of crap performances. Then we will win a game and we give the benefit of the doubt. And then the whole cycle repeats itself, says Sean. That is pretty much what's happening. Elliot Anderson won't do good in a 2-man midfield. Modern midfielders are used to playing in a 3. Ruben will defend that by saying that his centre-backs come forward and his 10s drop back. It's not a 3-4-3. It just constantly adapts and evolves and evolves and evolves. Then why are we not trying something different off the bench then? We need a win. He is starting to, like I said a moment ago, trip himself up a little bit now, Ruben. I'm checking through the other quotes. It's mainly all on Kobbie Mainoo. All anyone is talking about is Kobbie Mainoo right now. And that is it. You always ask me the same questions. Yeah, well, it's Kobbie Mainoo, Ruben. And this is what happens. You've not picked up anything really at Old Trafford since that Brighton game. And you've failed in 2 really poor performances to get anything out of this team. And people are going to keep on looking at the in-game management. And in-game management last night, where it was all right against Crystal Palace, like Sean just said in the chat there. You have 1 good moment and then 2 bad moments, completely pushing you back. And the ceiling now clearly has to be aim for the 6th place in the league and hope that the cohesion works to get into the Europa League. That is where Manchester United are right now with Ruben. Does anyone else actually think that these players can do better with a different manager? Or just to switch it across again to the players, because they're a bunch of absolute clowns, by the way. And I made a point in making that out the other day. These players are a disgrace. They really are. Does anyone think that another manager this season will get more out of these players? Are you concerned if these players turn up for another manager because they've won again? Saeed is in the house as well. Amorim Ball. Oh, I've lost him. He's gone off my screen. He's back on again. Amorim Ball is so bad. I don't even get to Adam anymore. Yeah, I know, Saeed, mate. Honestly, me and Saeed need to do a show together soon enough. Honestly, missed him, and it is. I've seen, and this is what I said at the start of this show. I've listened to other people. I've listened to other United fans and podcasts. I've just gauged where everyone else is at, and there's loads of people who I know that have just completely lost their shit completely with him now, and that he is not taking accountability for things either. That's the problem that I think a lot of fans have got with Ruben now. I just don't think that they believe in him, and this fan base doesn't trust Ruben Amorim to get more out of this team. They don't trust the team enough to want to do more for Ruben, and they've not seen anything from Ruben that's going to change the mindsets and confidence of this team. You're in a lose-lose situation right now where you're just praying and hoping that someone does something miraculous, like a fantastic finish from Joshua Zirkzee, or a free kick actually going in for Manchester United like it did against Palace. That's it. That's what we're looking at. Now Mbeumo's form is off, look at how bad Manchester United are. These players now are being dragged back into the rest of the pack. And the rest of the pack are the ones that have got the United disease. The new players are already feeling it. That's the problem. Adam, you keep banging on about how good Ineos is. Please explain just what they have done to progress the club. I will list what they have done below. They have spent money where no other ownership has ever done it before on Manchester United. They've put a structure in place which is doing well with recruitment, just not enough. They're dealing with the crap and the culture at the football club. They're ready to build another facility for the academy. They're fixing bits up in Old Trafford to make the experience better. Yes, the pricing is wrong. I do agree that that is bad. And I do get what you're going to come back with as well in a moment, which is they're the ones that employed Ruben Amorim. They're the ones that kept Erik ten Hag. And on the pitch, it has failed on paper under Ineos. So my argument isn't with that. My argument is in hope that they do act on something if it keeps on continuing on this trajectory. What they've done behind the scenes is a lot more positive for Manchester United. They just need to figure out what the right way is to go forward with United on the pitch. And look, I'm not going to argue against anyone who throws facts and stats, because under Ineos, it's been bad. It's been bad. First season, worst ever in the Premier League. Second season, it's not much better. Better, but not as good. And look, I'm not going to roll out the red carpet for him and say, look at these guys here walking into Old Trafford. They've changed it and everything is great. The thing that I said was, I was willing to give Ineos the 3 years and then see where we're at, see what they've done, see where we are as a team, and judge it from there. I think they could undo a lot of their work if they continue to allow Ruben Amorim to get away with it. Ruben Amorim proving himself in 3 years, what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said the other day. I don't think that's going to fly. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. Results will always determine what happens with Manchester United. I want to see how ruthless Ineos are with that. This is the big test for them. Their first manager. Mistake, by the looks of it at the moment. Whether that changes or not, I haven't got any hope for it. If they act on Ruben, then they will show to me that they're even more positive going forward. And they are proactively acting on situations. They did it with Dan Ashworth, didn't like him, sacked him. Mistake, paid for. Ruben, we're paying for it big time right now. And their blind backing of him and that analysis and the data, I just don't see that. And I don't care for stats like that. The data will tell you certain things about players, like running records and performance-related stuff like that. I'm all for that. That's fine. That's great. But I said this before. Someone will come out and say that Manchester United had another 19 shots and they've had more shots than anybody else in the league this season. And that is a positive. But no, it's not. Because they don't all go in the back of the net. And shots are shots. You could shoot from 40 yards and class it as a shot on the Statos list. So, no, I'm not having that either. Let's see what else we've got in here as well. Manny says, no manager should get more than 1 season at the club unless they win a trophy and progress in the league from the season before. Oh, don't say that, mate, because the season before we got 15th and we should be better than that this season. With the players that we've got and the lack of fixtures, we will easily get top 10, I think. So that would be seen as progress for me. European football or out you go. Simple as that. That's how I see it anyway. And it's up to United, isn't it? It really is down to United. There wasn't much more from that press conference. I didn't really think it was going to go on. There wasn't a single question by the sounds of it on Wolves and what happens. It's just the media in for their pound of flesh. Well, the man is down. And unfortunately, he's down because of his own actions, I feel. And I just say it again, like I said last night, like I said this morning, these players don't believe Ruben. And Gary Neville said something last night as well. He doesn't think it's like it's at that stage where the players are down in tools or anything like that. It's not got to that point. I think he was just being nice, and he went in on the players not doing well because he had an interview, a nice interview with Ruben before the game for Sky. So he's gone friends mode again with Ruben at that point, and now he's going in on the players. Yeah, the players do take blame for this. They really do. But Ruben cannot get away with it either. Like, it's not all the players. It's the players and it's Ruben Amorim. It is. So right now, what do? Well, we pray. That's it. Because the players have shown that they just aren't capable enough to play Ruben Amorim football. So then at this point, Ruben surely has to just tweak things and just make something work for some of them players that just are sinking in these positions because they're not good enough. And if you thought that them players were struggling and weren't going to be able to play these positions, then in the summer you should have made a choice about maybe changing things up and playing a little bit differently this season just to get into where you want to be. Dorgu, Dalot can't play at wing back. Ahmad, yeah, good decision, but you knew AFCON was coming. Why weren't you prepared for it? Why have you not brought anybody in? We brought in a left wing back from Paraguay, and Leon, who's going out on loan. That's not good enough for Ruben Amorim. He's not going to get the results. United didn't do enough in the summer, and Ruben wasn't prepared to change his system to fit the players that he had. He could have still got all of his new signings into a simple 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-1-3, whatever you want to call it, 4-3-3, all of these other formations and systems. 4 at the back. We had every single player necessary in. I think he's gone 3 at the back because he's got such a mass number of centre-backs in there. That's what it looks like at the moment. John with a super chat says, I've only so much patience in the locker and I'm just about out of it. He's had a fair crack. We're signing Premier League proven players. Time we did the same with the manager. Who would that be? That's the next question, isn't it? Look, if he beats Wolves, he stays on even longer. But then the worry is Bournemouth at home, who are again in atrocious form, by the way. And I'm worried about that. I'm worried about every home game right now. But then again, Bournemouth might actually come and attack United, and we might actually get something out of that game. Villa will attack United, and Newcastle will attack United. That's my analysis. In hope that United can get something. You're not going to get a crap team come and try a low block on us. And that's the only hope that I've got for United getting anything at all out of these next few games. You cannot free Amo. He has the responsibility for results and way of playing. You cannot free Amo. Story, I think you're supposed to add something else in there, another word. Ruben gutted the team getting rid of too many players and never playing youth and rusting out Mainoo and Xerxes. We have a skeleton crew for this crap coach. Skeleton crew for a crap coach. I think that's probably fair in terms of where everything is. Players are not good enough. Coach isn't good enough. And that recipe isn't going to get you very far in the league. You've preyed on a few players, maybe 5 or 6 players that could actually do something for you. Xerxes is not a Manchester United player. Gallo is not a Manchester United player. Dorgu is showing that he's not a Manchester United player, not good enough, even though he's raw and still young and could get better. He might be an all right fullback with another winger in front of him. What we're looking at, Agate, he's not a Manchester United player. I don't think we're looking at... well, Kobbie Mainoo, we don't know. So that's another thing. Bruno's aging, Casemiro's aging. Literally every one of them players there, they were gone in the summer. Not one Man United fan that's going to lose too much sleep over it. That should tell you the story on its own. Imagine being Villa and Sancho is the bench that you can utilise, but looking at what Emery has achieved, while Amorim is crying about what attacking subs he can make with the bench. Excuses. Nobody's allowing excuses at the moment, it would seem. Thank you so much for all the likes as well, everybody. Thank you for everyone who's been part of the show. The press conference video today did go on a little bit longer, but I think we are all just a little bit irate and angry today. So, yes, I think we've got a lot to say. We have had a poll running. Do you want United to keep Ruben Amorim? 67% of you have said no. That is the opinion of the chat today, this lunchtime. 67% say Amorim out right now. It is very, very interesting. We will see. And again, I'll stand by it. If he loses against Wolves, he has to be sacked on the Tuesday. In fact, no, if he draws, if he doesn't beat Wolves, a team that has got 0 wins, that watch along and that reaction to that game is going to be epic on Monday night. Because if that goes Pete Tong, there's no helping him. You might as well get the rope out now. That's where you're at with Ruben Amorim if that one goes wrong in that game. Amorim and his cousin need to pack up and leave. That would be Dallo and Ruben, then I take it. Looked like Dallo actually scored a goal and got subbed off. That doesn't happen anywhere else. But when you think about it, in terms of the actual changes last night, he made 2 centre-back changes again when he didn't need to. The centre-back changes every single game. You do not bring centre-backs off. It literally, he is fueling the fire for all of the hate in doing that week in, week out. Just stop that, please. At least just give us that, Ruben. For God's sake. Glasner would get a tune out of them. I think he would play a different way. He has said, Glasner, that he does play a different way. he's actually not favourable. He's not. His favourite formation isn't a 3-4-3, even though he plays it at Palace. He does actually prefer a 4-4-2, Oliver Glasner. He said that in an interview, so I think he's probably more adaptable. But I was hearing a conversation the other day, and this is where I'm a little bit jealous of other teams. And it was Villa's approach to the Arsenal game, thinking that they're going to pack the midfield out and put like a 5 in midfield and have Watkins as the lone striker. Just changing the shape every now and then would help Ruben Amorim, I think. Because you would get the whole squad on board then. You'd be able to use more players. Therefore, when you desperately need someone, like we have done the last few weeks, they're not rusty as hell. Oh, a lot to discuss and a lot to go on, and this is going to rumble. Right, everyone, that is it. I'll bring you up to date with all the transfer stuff as we hopefully move away from all of this crap from last night later on today anyway. But thanks for watching, everybody. Epic show yet again at this lunchtime. Appreciate you all as always. Thank you for the super chats. And again, thank you for all the comments and likes. Get them in below as well in the comments section. What do you think of what Ruben said about Kobbie Mainoo? He doesn't want to play him. That's basically it. And that's how I take it. You give me your thoughts, and I'll see you all later on. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody.